So, welcome to the Magdalene Global Collective. This is a living temple that unites hearts, lineages, and soul missions through the teachings of Mary Magdalene. It supports initiates and leaders and seekers in embodying divine feminine and divine masculine sacred union consciousness, anchoring in compassion, sovereignty, sacred service, and embodied love through the art, through prayer, teaching, and a sense of community. This is a sanctuary for divine remembrance, which will ground heaven into earth and fosters the luminous frequencies guiding humanity's awakening. I am so grateful to be joined by Fabian Atlantis today, who is a somatic water therapy practitioner and founder of Oceanic Ventures, creating transformational retreats around the world. His work blends therapeutic water experiences, breathwork, and nervous system regulation with spiritual exploration in powerful natural environments. He is best known for his retreats in Egypt, where participants swim with wild dolphins in the Red Sea and journey through ancient temples along the Nile, combining deep healing, adventure, and connection to nature. Through his signature pink dolphin therapy and immersive oceanic experiences, Fabian guides people into profound states of relaxation, emotional release, and reconnection with themselves and the living waters of the earth. Wow, so what an introduction. And I'm going to leave it with you now, Fabian, I'm sure all the listeners would just love to know, how did you begin on this journey and your initiation to the water and to all that you shared
Mm.
today?
Thank you so much for having me in this beautiful podcast. When you shared the mission of your, I guess it's wider than the podcast, like your life mission, it is very beautiful and highly resonates with me. And I'm honored to be on your podcast today. And thank you very much for your service, for all
Oh,
the
thank
work
you so much.
you put into this. So the journey with the water started already. Well, when I was a baby, I guess, when I was in my mother's womb, and it continued when I recall one of the earliest childhood memories I have. My family went on holidays to Italy, and we were in the Mediterranean Sea, and my dad was a passionate windsurfer. So me as a little child, I would be sitting on the back of his surfboard and just enjoy being held and guided by my father's energy aligned with the elements of water, sun, and wind. Because in surfing, you kind of try to reach the perfect triangle in combination with the elements to get into the flow of life, right? This is like the moment.
Amazing.
This is what people are chasing in surfing. And I believe like it's the meaning of life, the flow moment. Fast forward many years later, I was in a men's circle in Berlin, Germany, where I'm from, because I felt like my whole life has fallen apart. I felt deeply unhappy with the identity, with the life I have created for myself to a degree that I felt depressed, burned out, all these things which are just wearing you down and tiring you. So that's how I felt. And I was seeking all sort of healing modalities. And one of them was simply a man's initiation. And I know you have many listeners in your podcast who are women, maybe some men
Yeah.
too. What
Mm.
really caught my attention was the fact that I was told in all traditions and indigenous traditions, you do have a moment that marks the transition from being a child or teenager to adulthood. And the theory that was brought to me is that we don't perform these rituals anymore in our modern society, and therefore men don't really know their role anymore. And if men don't know their role and are not attuned with their female and masculine energies, and they don't have a mission in life, of course, women in our society will also feel the consequences. So this really convinced me. So I went on this man's initiation, and they would perform several shamanic practices, one of them being a spirit animal meditation based
Mhm.
on Native American traditions. I absolutely loved it. Back then, I wasn't really used to all these tools of relaxation and altered states and so on. So for me, I was in my mind a lot and I was thinking back and forth, what's happening? I won't see anything. This is so weird. Because also I was gradually exposed to the woo-woo world, how some people call it,
Mm.
to magic. And back then, anyways, long story short, suddenly a dolphin appeared in my vision. And I absolutely loved it. And based on the Native American tradition of spirit animals, we had then consequently given ourselves names in this particular circle of man. And my
Yeah.
name was Powerful Dolphin.
Oh, wow, amazing.
So that's what I called in. And that was really the first call to come back to the ocean, to the
Yeah.
water.
And you're going
For
back to your
me,
childhood as well, back to the water where it all started.
back to the flow of life, right?
Mm.
So it's a beautiful red line, and actually, it's the first time I'm verbalizing this and seeing this red line going through my life. I I was watching some videos online about dolphin conservation. It was specifically about how dolphins are being killed in the Red Sea. No, that was actually the Mediterranean Sea as well, as bycatch from fishermen and so on. And I felt a deep calling in my heart to support dolphins. And I went online and I was thinking, what can I do? So I literally just looked for a position to volunteer, and I ended up becoming a volunteer for a Switzerland registered organization working in the field of dolphin conservation, raising awareness for the cause of dolphins, also doing research. They're all marine biologists. And interestingly enough, this nonprofit organization operates in the Red Sea of Egypt, out of all places. I didn't even know that there were dolphins in Egypt, I think. In fact, I had no clue. I was very lucky to be accepted to work with these marine biologists. And part of my job was also to go out on a daily basis on a research boat, look for dolphins, gather data, and swim with them. So for me, this also felt like a deep transformation to be allowed to be with these experts and swim with wild dolphins. Later on, I noticed that the ancient civilization of Atlantis, which embodied a high level of technological advancement, has closely lived in harmony with dolphins, and dolphins played an important role in Atlantis. So I felt like the dolphins have called me to Egypt. Egypt embodies a land where a lot of knowledge from the ancient civilization of Atlantis has been brought to after the downfall. So it's all connected, it's all a journey, and it's really hope it's just leading us to a place of higher consciousness, love for ourselves, for God, for nature, which is which is all the same in the end for me, nature, God, and us.
Yeah, yeah. And to just come to the realization that we're all one. But what's most interesting as well is like, did you feel a calling when you were younger to Atlantis, when you heard of Atlanta, or did all of this come later as the initiation with the
Hmm.
dolphins began?
I didn't feel the call to Atlantis until very late in my life.
Yeah.
And even today, I feel
So it
it's
was
not,
it was dormant, was it? Dormant for a long time.
it was dormant, and a friend helped me to actually several people I worked with to help me to awaken it. However, I still feel like today I have still a lot to
Mhm.
unpack of the
Yeah.
knowledge. It's like I am doing things, I'm guided, and afterwards I find out, oh, it's been connected.
Yeah. Yeah. Just making the breakthroughs as well. And it's interesting too because you connected as well because you were saying about the divine masculine and growing up in what it's like to be a man as well. Like 'cause sometimes like in the home, like the male is there, like they're present, but they may not always be fully supporting the female because they're not yet awakened in their feminine energy. So like they can be so lost as well. So I was actually really hoping this was guided for me that I would have a male to come on the show as well and just speak about the divine masculine. Because as much as we like the female, we can't quite explain it because we're not that gender. Do you know that kind of way? So um would you get a lot of males that are drawn to your courses that have been in similar situations as you or were brought up like you or
Well, so I have been to quite a few men's circles, and I have just organized 2 weeks ago a men's circle in the water, which was very beautiful. However, the majority of people that are drawn to my work are women. I
Mm.
am not entirely sure why that is. We do work a lot with dolphins. We work with the ancient temples in Egypt, so it's a lot about energies, meditations, and it requires some sort of finesse, like a feeling of being very fine and feeling and emotional. And maybe this is something that the female has a little bit more access to.
Yeah, yeah. And
Or,
a lot of empaths do this work. A lot of empaths are drawn to this work. There's a safety. There's a safety in it as well, isn't there? Yeah, which is beautiful.
maybe.
Lemuria was coming in as well, actually, for me this morning there was a few things that came in this morning because I do this work on I'm a psychic medium most of the week. And what was coming in is interesting you were saying because I said, how do I ask this question? Did you just come from the womb into the water? That's what and that was the first reference that you said as well when you started speaking. And the elements came in around you very strong and the connection to the elements. But Lemuria actually came in very, very strong as well. Do you feel that connection yourself?
So I'm grateful you're mentioning this because the Atlantis call, and that's the name of my retreats, by the way, in Egypt, the Atlantis call. This came in 2021 when I climbed Mount Sinai in Egypt. It's the mountain where Moses received the Ten Commandments. And I remember drinking water from the well in the mountains. It's a very holy place for me and for Jews and Muslims and Christians alike. I didn't stop organizing retreats since then. Now, 6 years into the journey, I'm kind of feeling multiple calls. It started with one of my co-facilitators, Damla. She's also one of my water teachers. She mentioned wanting to explore whales because she had a vision in her dream about whales. And I like to listen to signs within sight of myself and of others surrounding me because we are not operating like a business
Mhm.
itself per se. It's about following following the signs. Okay, so that was one, the whales. And then I started looking into whales And actually, just last month, for the first time, I had deep encounters with the whales in the Caribbean Sea. It was absolutely incredible. And apparently, there is a stronger connection between the Muria and the whales as well. So this is
And
now
also
coming into.
Andromeda, when the pink ray of light that flows through Venus is connected
Oh.
with the whales as well.
I would love to hear more about that.
Mm.
The pink is also something which comes into my life, or which I'm calling, and you have a beautiful
Wow.
pink shirt.
Yeah, just came to me today. Wear pink.
I'm wearing pink
Very
pants
good.
also.
Wow.
Yeah, so this is now maybe a little bit of a change of topic, like going
That's
back into
okay.
the.
Yeah, no, it's just I feel like that now. It's just more and more awakening to these frequencies, and like as you were saying, it's a calling, but like that, just being guided. So, like the title of this podcast is the Mary Magdalene Collective. You were saying that you felt connected to this consciousness as well. Mary Magdalene's very connected with the sea. Have you felt that connection also?
Do you mean with the C or Maria Magdalene?
Mary Magdalene.
Well, it's I can feel it through one of my ex-partners somehow, because she's doing a lot of work also in Egypt with sacred sites
Yeah.
and and like different temples where people went to, like Jesus Christ,
Mhm.
Maria, the parents of Jesus. So that's the connection I have. However, I I feel like I have like a little bit of a there's not much technical knowledge I have about it. I couldn't
Yeah.
talk to you
Yeah.
about it much
Yeah. Because like
unless
really,
I
it
channel.
to be honest, it's a feeling, isn't it?
Of
It's a
course.
feeling that you feel the connection. But like
Yes.
there isn't like that now 2000 years ago. There is some history that is written on the rose and like that her journey that she made because she made her journey from we'll say through the Mediterranean Sea and all the way down to the south of France. And like that, the connection to Egypt is there as well through Isis and Mother Mary and Hathor and all of the goddesses. And yeah, it's beautiful, isn't it?
ISIS was a big one for me as well, the ISIS energy.
Washi.
Yes, I have been many times now to her temple, all the way in Aswan in the south of Egypt. Many, many kind of ceremonies we have been to conducting, and I have also been staying on an island close to the temple. I believe that was the very first time. And I remember waking up at night and looking at the temple, even like in my visions and my dreams, and I could just like I felt, when you look at the radar system and you
Yeah,
have like something in the center, and then so this is what I saw, and the Isis temple was in the center of the radar, and it was sending out these waves of
yeah,
energy from this Isis temple. And to me, I felt that's like dark red feminine energy. And I
yeah,
even felt a bit scared of it,
yeah, yeah,
of the
yeah. It's
strength,
powerful, isn't
the
it?
strength of the womb, you know.
Mhm.
And of
Mhm.
course, there is no reason to be afraid of it. It's just it's definitely something that she stands for, this strong feminine force. And I also recall taking a group to the temple a few years back, and there was somebody in my group, she had this topic of man and woman and suppression and
Yeah,
patriarchy and all these things. And she made a joke about man, and she hit me very deeply. She hit me, and
Yeah.
I shared with her my deepest vulnerability, and that was close to the temple. And then she said, "Wow, thank you for this present." Because first she was, "No, like, why are you
Yeah.
accusing me of this?" And I thought, "Hey, listen, I'm just want to share my deepest truth." And when we are hurt, and I'm speaking also
Mhm.
about the relationship between man and woman, or the masculine and the
Yeah, and
feminine.
man with woman as well, especially when there's hurts there. And like that's the thing, once you connect to that land and that place, like it brings up your deepest emotions. Just like the
Yeah,
water. The water is the same. Like I did a course on the blue rose the last few years. And the blue rose like that now it's connected to Lemuria as well. But it's connected to the water in your body also, and it brings up the deepest. And it's just to be mindful of that too, that nothing like it's you can't pretend everything's okay or have the rose tinted glasses on because they just come off, because everything comes up to be cleared as well. Do you feel Egypt has really changed you as a person? Are you the same person
absolutely.
you were when you first went?
No, it changed me deeply. It felt like a rebirth to me. I was
Yeah.
gonna go to Egypt and stay for maybe 6 weeks to 8 weeks. I stayed for 3 years.
Wow.
I didn't go
Yeah.
back.
Oh my
I
God.
and after 3 years, when I left, I got a tattoo on my back. The only tattoo I have, it's the Ankh, the key of life from the ancient temples, the symbol that you often see on the hieroglyphs, which is held by the pharaohs. And for me, it
Yeah.
was a, a present to myself and an honoring of Egypt for having giving me this opportunity to totally renavigate my life and go on that level. So I will always go back to Egypt, and I'm eternally grateful.
Yeah. Yeah. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Have you received the activation of the alchemy? Like when you went to the temples, did you feel your senses came more online as well?
Yeah, so I've been on multiple temple journeys with different guides, and this one time I was taken through the temple of, well, Dendera and Abydos, and I was taken through different chambers, and every chamber represents a different god. And every god comes with different characteristics and symbols of life. And for ancient Egyptians, it was a pilgrimage. So you go
Yeah,
through the temple, you stay there, and your life gets resurrected. And I just walked in there, and in each chamber, I felt like all this information was coming in. And I
wow.
remember taking my phone and taking notes. I was like, okay, I need to write all of this down. It was a lot. I saw the darkness, the shadow, I saw the light. I received clear instructions for life. For example, one instruction was commitment is the key to freedom. Another another one was learn to give. Just learn to give. What I
Yeah.
did is I took my crystals, what I was
Mm.
wearing some crystals, and I just gave them as an offering to the temple. I left them right there in the chamber. And then this theme of giving continued throughout my life for a little bit
Yeah.
because it was new to me. Like to give, for me, it was
Yeah.
more about
And even at
giving.
times when sometimes, because even as a human, sometimes you feel, oh my God, I don't have anything myself. How can I give like from an empty cup? But like that came through even today for me because I bought a bunch of flowers for Easter Sunday and I said, wow, aren't they beautiful flowers? And my little boy, he's 3 and he was like, Mama, they're my flowers. But I brought them to the childminder and I gave them to her and I said, look, I really wanted these for myself, but I'm going to give them to her. And it was just to keep that flow from the heart. It's just a simple act of giving as well, isn't it? Um,
It is beautiful. I have been to another retreat after the experience in these temples, and I said to everybody, "Hey," there was like a sharing invitation, and I said, if anybody would like to receive a gift, if anybody needs some financial support, just come and see me. So I gave some support to
Yeah.
somebody who came to see me. Only one person come to see me after out of 50 people after 1 week. He came to me and I was like, aha, I think it's you. And
Yeah. Yeah.
then I was also walking on the beach close to the water in Turkey at this retreat, and there is a guy who's selling water sports activities, different water
Okay.
sport activities.
Yeah.
One was where you go on you put on like a jetpack and then you fly up above the sea. It's like you get a hose and you can kind of like navigate around, and it was pretty expensive, I found, to do this activity. It was like he was like, yeah, it's like I don't know, $120 for like 10 minutes or something like that. I was like, no, I'm good. And then I go on and he calls me back. He's like, hey, you come back. What's going on? And he looks at my necklace and he's like, I love your necklace. And this was actually a necklace from Egypt, from the temples. And he said, I love your necklace. I'm like, yeah, I love it too. Do you want to make a trade? I go on your water activity on the jetpack thing, and you get to receive the necklace, which is coming from the temples. He's like, okay, deal. So I do it and I go and I kept falling down. And it was very painful to fall down. You can go very high. And somebody was trying to explain me how to do it, but I didn't really listen, and I was blaming the guy. I was screaming, like, what's going on? Like, what are you doing? And then I actually was holding in still for a moment, and I was thinking, okay, let let's stop to blame this guy and let's try to figure this out. And I realized if I actually balance myself gently, I can fly. And this was also a moment where I realized,
Wow.
how about I organize retreats around water for self-realization? Because
Oh
the
my
moment we
gosh.
stop, we are so many of us on the victim role. It's almost like a
Yeah.
default. But if we stop blaming and really balance, we can do anything. We can fly. And I also invited somebody to this experience who I paid for because I had another necklace, which I also traded. And yeah, I mean, there's all these steps. And then I'm sharing this particular aspect of the story because I learned in the temple initiation that I have to learn to give.
Yeah.
Then I invited someone to this water experience, had this realization doing it myself, and then I also started organizing retreats.
Amazing. And what about someone, I was just thinking I'd ask this morning as well. What about someone who is afraid of the water that may not be the great swimmer? Can they still can they still sign up for this with you? Is it suitable for them?
Perfect. Yeah. So with people who are afraid of water, I'm used to work with them.
Yeah.
I hold them in the water, I guide them, and it's part of my work. So I oftentimes work with people who are traumatized because they maybe had some experience of drowning in waters. So I
Yeah.
have worked with people very early on in my journey who said, thank you for changing my life because now I'm no longer afraid of swimming in the ocean. And with the
Such amazing
dolphin,
freedom, isn't it? Freedom.
yeah. And with the dolphins, it's pretty similar. I have oftentimes, so I take people to swim with dolphins once a year in the Red Sea. It's the
Wow.
population that I worked with during my volunteering. It's a small population of about 350 dolphins. But as I've been visiting them over the years, it's the population that I want to stay with, and it feels like a family. And the dolphins, they're also very smart. They
And would they
remember.
remember you? Did they remember your energy or
They should,
yeah.
because they do have a very advanced brain, and
Mm.
there is a technology in their brain which kind of makes a almost like a photograph of you outside and the shapes, and they will remember you forever normally.
It's incredible, isn't it? It's just incredible.
And they also make
Amazing.
up unique signature whistle sounds for other individuals and for humans. So they
And
might say,
that's
"Hey, this is
deeply
a."
healing as well. Have you had many people report healings from it, from that experience with you?
Well, we consider the waters as a medicine, and the same goes for dolphins. And I have seen, managers maybe coming on a trip and they would always be on the phone, making deals and all of this. And then the dolphins appear, and suddenly they drop the phone. It's like, wow, everybody's
Yeah.
smiling, and they just help humans to go into ease and flow because of the frequencies they're holding. They spend a lot of time playing, engaging with humans and dolphins and socializing. They are very playful beings. They're having the best time of their
Amazing.
life. And that's actually why I decided to, me personally, to work more with humans because I was almost thinking, why am I wanting to save dolphins if I'm not even able to save myself? I have the responsibility of doing my inner work. If I would just sit down and meditate, I probably have a bigger impact than screaming or yelling that people have to protect dolphins. It's a different
Oh, yeah.
energy. It is I want to say it's very crucial to do this type of work that organizations do in the field of dolphin conservation, you know. However, for me, where I came to is it's about healing the inner and outer waters, right? So I want to make sure that I have done some work on my inner waters and of course the outers as well. But again, there needs to be a balance.
Yeah, yeah, and of course, like the inner work is always ongoing as well. You know, it always is. So what exactly happens if someone books in for a retreat with you?
Hmm.
Um, what happens for the few days? Like, is there a schedule? Is there
Yeah.
ceremonies as well?
Yeah,
Is there?
so it's become kind of big over the years,
Yeah,
and people can come from two 2 days minimum to 3 weeks. So basically, it's like modules, but they're all after the other. So some people
yeah,
would come for 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. It's all possible. So basically, this year, for the first time, we are going to do a 3 weeks sequence. The first week will be a somatic water healing training. People are going to be initiated into the water healing modalities that I work
yeah,
with. That's 1 week, including going to the sacred places such as Mount Sinai and the Blue Hole, which is an incredible deep, deep spot just off the coast of the Red Sea in Egypt. The second week, and this is all like from one experience to the next. So once the somatic water healing week is finishing, we are going on a boat for 1 week. It's a very beautiful big yacht, and we are basically every day going to a reef to encounter the dolphins.
oh my God.
A typical day would
Amazing.
be so a typical day would be actually structured by the dolphins because it's nature. We never know when they appear. We never chase them. When we see them, we have a bell, ding, 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 and this might be in the morning. So you wake up in the Red Sea, it's beautiful, there's nothing around, and there's a ding, ding, which means, okay, the dolphins are here. Then you come on the deck, you put on a mask, and we go in. And if the dolphins want to engage with us, they would come and play, and maybe they have calves, maybe maybe they engage in different types of activities, such as mating or, it's everything, because that's a lot
Wow.
of the life like. Yeah, and then of course we have a lot of conscious activities, yoga, Um, we have an incredible team with a large toolkit box, and we go with the energies of the retreat. So whatever is needed, we will do it. That's for
Yeah,
about a
and you
week.
go to the temples as well, you were saying then.
Yes,
You bring the
absolutely. So
groups as you're
with the
guided.
so true. So with the dolphins, we also take the boat and we go to isolated islands. There's nothing, and we do water therapy in the Red Sea. It's beautiful. And yeah, after that, that's the second week, we jump on a bus and we drive all the way from the Red Sea to the Nile, the longest river on planet Earth. And you have all the ancient Egyptian temples which are lined up next to the Nile. So we are going to spend another week on an ancient Egyptian sailing boat. It's like a replica of a boat, and it's
Yeah.
yeah. So we go to each temple, and each temple we do a ceremony. And the ceremony typically includes us going into a private space within these temple structures, which are partially very large. And we do open portals, we do activations with sounds, and it's a lot about emotional release. It's a lot about
Yeah.
crying, actually. It's yeah, it's a lot about that. It's a lot about
Yeah.
our guests just going in, and it's very touching. It's like it's almost impossible not to cry when I observe it, when I
It's a
see
really
them.
heart awakening experience.
And by the way, yes, I do step sometimes into guiding some of these experiences around activations. However, it's mostly led by my female co-facilitators.
Yeah.
And it's a very beautiful energy. And again, like looking at it, it's the tears are just coming. And it's funny because in the temples you have people like us who are going on a pilgrimage. And there's
Yeah.
other people who are going to the temples like a museum. And sometimes I remember encountering like normal tourists, like I believe they were there were Asian tourists, like you walk around, take pictures and everything, and they climb up into this chamber and they look at what the girls from my retreat were doing, and they were just like, wow, like what's happening? Because it was clear that magic is happening, and it's like yeah, it's a funny moment.
It is. Yeah, I can just imagine. Have you a little offering that maybe you'd like to share with the listeners, whether it's a little healing or a little
Yeah, okay.
activation for them today would be beautiful.
Okay, so I would just jump right in. So I just
Perfect.
ask you to sit down for a moment in a relaxed position. Close your eyes and simply observe the breath around you, starting with the sounds, imagining a river flowing in the close distance, birds flying around the sky, and you're being taken back into the ancient temples of Atlantis, which are full of light, healing energies, taking back these energies from Atlantis with the learnings will help us to unlock states of mind for inner peace for us all. King Wazen Hei Hatnwa, Ki Wai Atlantis Kawa, Lemuria, Ki Nawa, Hei Hudidai Ka. Thank you so much for being on this journey with me.
Oh, that's beautiful. And thank you so much as well. I'm going to leave some contact details as well if anyone would like to just to reach out and contact Fabian also. And so much love. Thank you so much for being on the podcast.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
It was my pleasure.